Hello, welcome back to Paul's Stuff. This is my space on YouTube where I get to talk about all the things I love. Lots of Star Wars, lots of lightsabers. Today's not really about lightsabers, although we have got one on the table. Come to that a bit later. Today is about this, which is the brand new Sith Wayfinder from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This was released on May the 4th this year. Nobody knew it was coming. It's a brand new toy from Galaxy's Edge which works with the existing range of Kyber Crystals. So having already got the holocrons and the Kyber Crystals and the Savvy's Workshop lightsaber, I thought this would be a perfect addition, but at the moment, because of some personal circumstances, I'm not able to actually fund one of these. So fortunately, very good friend of mine and supporter of the channel decided that they would like to buy me this so that I could actually do a video on it, which is great of them, really kind. So I have one in hand to do a review on for you. So, as I say, this was released May the 4th this year for Star Wars Day. It's exclusive to Galaxy's Edge, so you can only pick these up directly from the two Galaxy's Edge parks. Batu East and West. It's available in Dokandar's Den of Antiquities, where you find all of the other Kyber Crystal toys. Apart from Savvy's Workshop lightsabers, obviously you have to go to do the Savvy's Workshop experience to get one of those. So this came out May 4th. Before I open up this lovely stone effect crate that it comes in, there is one thing I want to address straight away. There are two versions of this. There's a black one and a light grey one. Now, the one I have is the light grey one. There are some differences between the two. They're not huge differences. The biggest one obviously is the colour. The black one represents Darth Vader's Wayfinder. That's the one that Kylo Ren finds on Mustafar at the beginning of The Rise of Skywalker. And the light grey one represents Emperor Palpatine's Wayfinder, which is hidden on the wreck of the Death Star 2 in the same movie. I believe Kylo Ren smashes it to try and prevent Rey from finding Exegol. But anyway, that you can watch the film to see all of that. These are toys that represent those. So the black one being Vader's, if you leave these idle without them being triggered by a Kyber crystal, the black one will play at about 2-minute intervals, 2 minute 10 seconds, something like that. It will play Darth Vader breathing for about 10 minutes and then it will shut off. This one does the same thing, except it plays the Emperor's laugh instead of Vader's breathing. Every 2 minutes, and then after 10 minutes it switches itself off. The only other difference is the black one glows green when you start it up, this one glows blue. So there are some differences, but effectively they function the same, and the biggest difference is really in the colour. Why am I mentioning all of this? Well, because Disney in their wisdom decided to make this a blind box purchase. So when you buy this, it's $50 in the park. You don't know what colour you're getting in the box. You may get a white one, you may get a black one. Now, I'm not a big fan of blind box selling anyway. I think if you're paying for something, you ought to know what you're getting. I can kind of live with it with things like the Kyber Crystals. These come blind box as well. So each colour in the Jedi ones has 2 different versions, 2 different characters. The red ones, there's 4 different characters. There's the black crystal, which comes in a red canister as well. So there are lots of variations on them, but you never know what you're getting. You have to pay your money and take your chance on what you get. You will know the colour, but you won't know the character. I can kind of live with that at the price the crystals are. $50 for this, and you don't know what you're getting in the box. I think that is outrageous. Now that gets even worse if, like me, you're in the UK. Here in the UK, we don't have direct access to these from Disney. We have to buy them via third-party sellers. And that means these are almost twice that price here in the UK. These are expensive items for what they are, and you don't know what you're getting inside the box. And I think that's wrong. I think Disney should stop doing that. They're clearly doing it just to make more money from the fans, and I don't agree with that at all. There is a way of being able to tell what is in the box. Now, if we have a look at the lid of this, I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but in a couple of the corners, this corner and this corner, there are 2 little white dots. If both of those dots are white, then you're going to get a light grey one. If one of them is red, then it will be a Vader one. But when this comes, it has tape across those, so you have to look really carefully to find them. And again, buying them here in the UK, you can't do that because there isn't a retailer that has them on the shelf so that you can go and look at them. This is beginning to get a little bit of a rant. I don't want it to be, but this stuff from Disney really annoys me. You shouldn't be doing this to fans, Disney, and you know, on top of that, you need to sort out a European outlet for this sort of thing where we don't have to buy them from third-party sellers at inflated prices. You know, the prices are fair because these sellers have to import them, they have to pay duty on them. That's all well and good, but there should be a Disney outlet in Europe somewhere where we can buy these for a similar price to what they can be bought in the US. Anyway, enough about Disney's sale practices. So, what do we get in this lovely crate? So we'll take the lid off. The inside is all textured as well. It's really nicely done for the most part. And then inside, upside down, we will see our Wayfinder. Now it's presented just like the one Kylo Ren finds on Mustafar in Rise of Skywalker. And here is our Wayfinder. There's one other thing in the box, and that's this little wire thing. Now I found with mine, when I first got this was where it had been wrapped up in the box. It was all bent and tangled. I heated it for a little while and straightened it out a little bit. So the square end plugs into the back, and then this is magnetically held on the front. Again, you can see where this winding round can potentially cause a problem. So it holds on the front with a magnet. We have a switch on the bottom, When you first switch it on, it doesn't come on. You have to move the magnet to get it to turn on. And then you can see this one's glowing blue. As I said, the Vader one will glow green when you do that. So that's the Wayfinder. Let's talk about the box a little bit more for a moment. We may leave this for a couple of minutes so that it plays the Emperor's Laugh, and then you'll hear that as well. So the inside of the box has a vacuum formed insert to hold everything in place. This is really flimsy. It feels cheap. On mine, some of the sides are really thin. It feels really cheap. I appreciate it's part of the packaging, but they've clearly made this box so that you can keep it in it. That could have been better. It's also flocked. It's one of the worst flocking jobs I've ever seen on anything. Straight away out from unwrapping it, it wasn't good. The flocking was patchy on it. So that's the box. So the Wayfinder itself is a four-sided pyramid. There are speaker grills on the opposite side to where the magnet goes. It's got a nice weathering finish on it. I am toying with the idea of maybe doing a little bit more weathering to it. There is some sort of runic writing around this square base, which doesn't show up particularly well, and I think may do with a little bit of weathering. And this box, nice as it is crying out for some weathering, so I may well do something on that as well. Haven't decided yet. So I'm just waffling a little bit because I want to give this a couple of minutes to let it play the Emperor's Laugh, and then we'll look at how it works with the we'll look at how it works with the Kyber Crystals. So as you know, the Jedi holocrons and the Sith holocrons play messages from characters when you put one of the Kyber crystals in them. So if we put a Jedi Kyber crystal, I think this is Chirrut Imwe on this one, we put a Kyber crystal into our holocron, close it up, turn the holocron on, it glows white for a white crystal. And then if we activate it,
the Force is strong.
We get the voice of Chirrut Imwe.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing, for all is as the Force wills it.
So we can see how those have character voices on them. Each colour in the Jedi range has two different colours. Each of the red ones, there's each of the colours of the Jedi ones, there are 5 colours, white, yellow, purple, blue and green. Each of those has 2 different characters you can collect. The red ones have 4 different characters you can collect. There's also a black crystal in a red canister, and there are 2 what are known as 8-ball crystals. They work with this as well. They have slightly different text. One is a red one that is Vader, and there's a green one which is Yoda. So how do these crystals work with the new Wayfinder? Well, we have a little space down here. There's the Emperor chuckling away again. We have a little space down here where if we put the crystal, the Wayfinder will read the crystal. We get some sound, and then eventually we get a little pattern of lights. And you'll notice it's now changed to being white lights. I've used all the crystals with this, and each of these light patterns is different for the different characters on the crystals. So it's finding its way.
Jeddah is a lonely moon in a forgotten corner
And it's
of the
gone
galaxy,
to Jeddah.
a destination for those seeking lost lore about ancient Force traditions.
Jeddah obviously relates in some way to Chirrut Imwe.
Jeddah was a poor world by the time of the Empire's reign.
So
but
if you
ages
hold the
ago
crystal
was
to
the
it after
center
it's
of
played
Jedi
its first
wisdom
message, it will
reclamation,
play another one.
visited by pilgrims from across the galaxy.
And there are 4 messages.
Partisans fought the Empire for control of Jeddah, trying to stop Imperial forces from carrying away Kyber Crystals, mined in the moon's secret heart. A blind guardian of the wills, Chirrut Imwe defended Jeddah's ancient holy city and barely escaped the cataclysm that reduced the metropolis to fire and dust.
Okay, so we can see the character that's on the crystal for the holocrons is reflected on the pathway to the planet that you get to on the Wayfinder, which is really, really nice. This is fantastic detail. As I say, each of these crystals has 4 different messages on it. The voice on here is the same for all of the crystals, but each crystal has a separate set of messages on it, each character crystal. Now, one of the things I've run into with this, let's have a look at another crystal. Let's have a look at a red one. So when we present the crystal, it will change the colour to the colour of the crystal. And it will run through until the pathway is slightly different this time. This sort of attention to detail on this is really nice.
Mustafar is a bleak world of stark black rock and bright lava seas that occupies an unstable orbit between 2 massive gas giants deep in the outer rim.
So this time we've gone to Mustafar. This is a Vader crystal.
Mustafar is a hostile and dangerous planet, but also a valuable one. Its molten oceans and superheated mantle are mined for rich minerals by the Techno-Union and other corporations. Darth Vader built a grim castle on Mustafar. Inside its walls, he meditated on the dark side of the Force, channeling his rage and pain to gain power as a Sith.
So you get the idea. Each of these crystals, different character crystals, will give you different messages on the Wayfinder. Now, let's have a look at this one. This is a green one. I believe this is a Yoda crystal. And now we've gone green. And we're tracing their path to a different planet. This effect actually is retracing that part.
A forest planet covered in gigantic trees large enough to hold small cities.
So we've gone to Kashyyyk, and we know Yoda was at the Battle of Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk grows more dangerous as you descend from the tops of the Rorschach trees to the darkness of the forest floor. Even Wookiee warriors fear the stealthy predators of the lowermost levels. One of the last battles of the Clone Wars was fought on Kashyyyk, with Jedi Master Luminara and Dooley fighting alongside Yoda, Republic troops, and Wookiee militia.
So there we go. And we can see that works. Now, I have some crystals which will not work with this Wayfinder. So just to confirm that one we've just had in there was a Yoda one.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
We've got the voice of Yoda.
Anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
Now, I have another Yoda crystal, green Yoda crystal, which came with my Savvy's Workshop lightsaber. So this is my Savvy's Workshop lightsaber, and if I turn this on, you'll see it works fine. It recognises that this is a green crystal in here. And I'll take that crystal out. And pop it in to the holocron. It's turned green, so we already know the holocron's recognised it as a green crystal.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
And it's a Yoda
Fear
crystal.
leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
So we can see this is exactly the same as the Yoda crystal that I played from this canister. But this one will not work with the Wayfinder. For whatever reason, it won't work with the Wayfinder. I've got two others as well. My white Ahsoka Tano crystal and my yellow Maz Kanata crystal will not work with this. This just does not recognise them. We know from the Yoda crystal that it's not that the voices aren't on there, because this one will play, this one won't. I know with the yellow Maz Kanata one, it's not that the Maz voices aren't on here, because oh, wrong end. This is a double-ended crystal from Crafted Cores. Has Luke on one end and Maz Kanata on the other. I've just triggered the Luke end. Unfortunately, I have to let it go through its thing before it will accept another crystal.
The lost world, located deep in the galaxy's unknown regions, far from any trade route and considered a myth by most explorers and historians.
So if I put the other end of this to it, it should be Maz Kanata. There we go, it's gone yellow. So it's not that the Maz Kanata files aren't on here, they are. It's just that crystal won't trigger it for whatever reason. So far I have 3 crystals that won't work with this.
Takodana is a lush green world located far from the trade routes in the western reaches.
Talking about Takodana, which is the planet that Maz Kanata's castle is on. So Maz Kanata is definitely on there, but my Maz Kanata crystal will not work with this toy. So that's a little bit disappointing, and it's Disney's quality control is not what it could be. I know some of the holocrons when they first came out weren't picking up crystals because the aerials inside them weren't correctly attached. I have had this apart. The aerial is there, and it works with every other crystal. It's just annoying that their quality control is such that I've got an item that doesn't work how it's supposed to, especially when I've paid as much as I have for it. So another thing really that Disney need to get their act together on. Let you have a look at the different sides of this. So in terms of how it operates with the crystals have an RIFD tag chip in them, and the coding of the chip responds. This responds to the coding on the chip. As you can see, those chips work fine with everything else. They just don't work with this for some reason. There are 17 different crystals to collect. So there are 5 Jedi colours, each with 2 characters. There are 4 Sith characters in the red crystals, plus the black crystal. And then there are the 2 8-balls. So that's 17 in total. This plays 4 pieces of dialogue for each of those different crystals. So that's 68 different pieces of sound dialogue you get out of this, if you have all of the crystals. If you don't have all of the crystals, then this grey one is literally going to just sit there, do nothing, and laugh at you after 2 minutes, and then turn itself off after 10 minutes. These don't do much at all without the crystals. So unless you're prepared to invest in the crystals, I forget how much they are in the States. I know over here they range between £20 and £25 when you can get them. So that's a sizable investment as well. 17 of these. If you get all of the characters by buying 17, again, they're blind box. You may have to buy more crystals to get all 17. I have about 3 or 4 additional crystals, which I bought, and they're duplicates. Again, with things like these crystals, I can see that people would be happy to trade them with one another to get the things. That's fine. Maybe not so happy to trade a $50 toy with someone else. A $50 toy should not be a blind box. Come on, Disney. Be fair. But yeah, in terms of how it works fantastically if you have all the crystals, if you have some of the crystals. But you are going to have to make additional investment to get it to work more fully. If you just buy this on its own, it's really not going to do that much. So what do I think? I think it's a wonderful toy. I love the detail in it. I love that the paths to the different planets are different. I love that it's got as much dialogue on it as it has when you can use all the different crystals with it. I love the quality of this product itself. This feels really solid. It feels really nice. This feels maybe a little bit loose and not very magnetic, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to sit there. But yeah, on the whole, I think it's a really, really great toy. The things that are not so great about it are all to do with Disney, I'm afraid. The quality control isn't there. The cost, you're always paying premium prices with with Disney, no matter what the quality of the item. And in this case, the whole blind box selling thing is, I cannot agree with. So I don't know, this is a kind of a 50-50 for me, I think, this one. It's a lovely object. I won't be buying another one to try and get the black one, because I may get another white one, and then I'm left with the hassle of either selling that on, you know, I could go and buy a black one from eBay where I know what I'm getting, but I'm going to pay a lot more for it to do that. It would be much better, you know, to be honest with you, you know, even at the price these are in the UK, these retail for about £70 in the UK. I would have bought two if I knew I was definitely going to get one white one and one black one. As it is, I'm not going to buy another one. I'm just going to stick with the one, because I don't want to gamble on a £70 purchase. So there we go. Sorry, this has been quite ranty, but Disney and their merchandising practices really grate on me. You know, I think they're greedy. They just want you to spend more and more and more money with them. And that's fine if they're being fair with you about how you're buying their products. As I say, I would have quite happily bought two of these if I knew what I was getting. But I'm not going to take the gamble on getting another white one just to try and get a black one. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, rant over. Do I like this? Yes. Would I have bought one if I had the money myself? Probably. I probably wouldn't have bought more than one. To be fair, you know, the differences in function are minimal, and it's not, I don't think it's a crucial purchase to have both of them. It's nice to have both if you're a completist. You don't need both of them. One is enough. As I say, I thought I'd like the black one. I probably still would. This light grey one is growing on me. So yeah, bottom line, it's a lovely, lovely toy. The attention to detail in it is great, but it does have some flaws and it is expensive. That's my review on the new Sith Wayfinder from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Sorry it's quite negative in some respects. I do love this. I do love this. I just hate the way that Disney are selling it. It is what it is at the end of the day. Disney aren't going to change just because I want them to. They're a business. They're a huge multinational business, and they're out to get as much money as they possibly can from fans. That's the bottom line. So, it's a lovely toy. Pick one up if you can, especially if you've got all the crystals. Don't expect it to do much if you don't have the crystals. Yeah, that's kind of it really. So if you've liked this video, and I would completely understand if you didn't, with me ranting on about Disney, but if you did like it, then please give it a like. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Lots of different stuff covered, lots of lightsabers, both in terms of reviews of Nexus lightsabers and how-tos and instructional videos on how to work with Nexus lightsabers. So if you're into that sort of thing, it might well be worth subscribing to the channel. Click the notification bell. That'll tell you when new content is coming up. Quick plug for Comic-Con that my my costuming group, Vader's Raiders, are involved with, coming up in August. It's called Legends Comic-Con. It's a different concept in Comic-Cons in that it's a Comic-Con weekender. So there's weekend camping and evening entertainment. Promises to be an absolutely cracking weekend, full of not just Star Wars but other attractions as well. I believe we've just got laser tag is confirmed to be there. Going to be a great weekend. You can find more information out about that from a link that is in the description text below. But for now, that's my review on the Sith Wayfinder from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Parks by Disney. Cheerio.